My name is Paul Hebert. I'm on the Wicked Tuna show for 11 years. I own the boat Wicked Tuna, and I came down to Conley, GMC.
People see confidence on television and assume strength comes naturally. A loud laugh, a fearless personality, a captain shouting orders over crashing waves. It all creates the illusion of a man untouched by hardship. But sometimes the strongest voices carry the heaviest silence behind them. Behind the camera lights and dramatic fishing battles was a life shaped not only by success and fame, but by heartbreak, controversy, and moments that changed everything forever. For years, audiences saw a fisherman who seemed unstoppable, stubborn, competitive, and endlessly determined. Yet beyond the ocean's surface was a human being navigating storms far more dangerous than anything found at sea. Long before television fame arrived, his story began in a tight-knit fishing community where the ocean wasn't just a job. It was a family tradition, passed down like an heirloom. Growing up surrounded by seasoned fishermen, he learned early that survival depended on patience, grit, and respect for the unpredictable nature of the water. Childhood memories were filled with early mornings on boats, the smell of salt in the air, and lessons taught not through lectures, but through experience. The sea became both teacher and testing ground, shaping his personality into someone who believed hard work could overcome almost anything. But life rarely follows a straight path. Before cameras, fame, or rival captains, there were years of struggle. He spent countless nights working long hours on commercial fishing vessels, sleeping wherever space was available, and enduring harsh weather conditions that pushed him to his limits. The ocean offered opportunity, but it also demanded sacrifice. Physical exhaustion became normal, and yet he kept going, not because it was easy, but because it was the only life he truly understood. At one point, he even tried stepping away from fishing to pursue a different future. Construction work seemed like a safer path, something stable and grounded compared to the unpredictable nature of life at sea. But fate had other plans. A devastating accident changed everything, leaving him injured and forcing a painful period of recovery and reflection. It was during this time that he realized how deeply the ocean was woven into his identity. Land-based work never felt right, and once he healed, he returned to the water with renewed determination, convinced that the sea was where he truly belonged. Years later, television would introduce him to audiences around the world. The competitive fishing show brought viewers directly into the intense battles between captains chasing massive tuna through dangerous waters. Rivalries grew quickly, fueled by pride, money, and the thrill of victory. From the moment he appeared on screen, he stood out. His blunt honesty, fiery personality, and relentless drive made him both loved and controversial. Some admired his authenticity, while others criticized his aggressive approach. But regardless of opinion, one thing was certain: he was impossible to ignore. Early seasons showed him working under other captains, learning the dynamics of television while honing his skills in one of the most competitive fishing environments imaginable. Long hours, high-pressure decisions, and constant rivalry tested every part of his character. There were conflicts, disagreements, and moments where his strong personality created tension with teammates. Eventually, these clashes led to major changes in his career path. Instead of fading away, he used the setbacks as motivation to grow stronger and pursue independence. The turning point came when he decided to launch his own boat. It wasn't just a business decision. It was a declaration of self-belief. Owning a vessel meant full responsibility for success and failure. The early days were filled with challenges, mechanical problems, fierce competition, and the overwhelming pressure of proving himself as a leader. But slowly, through persistence and experience, his crew began finding success. Season after season, he climbed the ranks, coming painfully close to victory before finally achieving a long-awaited championship that validated years of dedication. To viewers, this triumph looked like the ultimate success story, but behind the scenes, darker chapters were unfolding. Rumors began circulating online, claiming that tragedy had struck him. Sensational headlines spread rapidly across social media platforms, fueled by dramatic thumbnails and emotional language designed to shock audiences. Some claimed he had died in accidents. Others suggested sudden illness or mysterious circumstances. Fans were left confused and worried, unsure what to believe. Despite the chaos, no credible sources confirmed the rumors. While misinformation spread, he continued living his life, fishing, posting updates, and interacting with fans who remained loyal. The experience revealed how quickly online speculation can spiral out of control, turning a living person into the subject of false narratives. For someone already navigating public scrutiny, the emotional toll of constantly defending the truth added another layer of stress to an already complicated life. Yet the most devastating blow came not from internet rumors, but from real-life loss. During a particularly difficult period of filming, tragedy struck his family. The death of his father, the man who had first introduced him to the ocean, shattered him in ways viewers could never fully understand. Travel restrictions and professional obligations prevented him from being present during his father's final days. The regret and grief lingered long after filming ended. Fans began noticing subtle changes. The once loud and animated captain appeared quieter, more reflective. His interactions with crew members softened, and moments of vulnerability replaced some of his usual bravado. Those closest to him recognized that he was carrying a weight no amount of success could erase. The ocean, which had once been a place of freedom, now also carried memories of loss. Despite the pain, he continued filming, hoping that staying active might help him cope. He spoke about wanting to bring hope and entertainment to viewers who were themselves struggling through difficult times. The fishing community rallied around him in quiet ways, offering support without drawing too much attention to his grief. While competition remained fierce, there was a noticeable shift in camaraderie, as if everyone understood that some battles extended far beyond the leaderboard. But life's challenges didn't stop there. As his career gained momentum, past legal troubles resurfaced, threatening to overshadow his achievements. Allegations related to financial benefits and false statements became public knowledge, leading to court proceedings that divided his fanbase. Some viewers felt betrayed, questioning the integrity of someone they had admired for years. Others argued that people deserved second chances, especially when mistakes were acknowledged and consequences faced. The controversy changed how he interacted with the public. He became quieter in interviews and more cautious in appearances. Media outlets attempted to get comments, but he largely remained silent, focusing instead on work and personal growth. The legal battle left a lasting impact on his reputation, reminding him that fame could amplify every mistake and turn personal struggles into public spectacle. Yet even as criticism grew, he continued showing up, both on the water and on television. Over time, audiences saw glimpses of resilience beneath the controversy. He worked harder, stayed committed to his crew, and gradually rebuilt trust through consistency rather than words. For many fans, this perseverance became proof that people are more than their worst moments. By the time the long-running fishing series reached its final seasons, he had transformed from a controversial crew member into a seasoned captain with a legacy shaped by both triumph and tragedy. The show's ending marked the closing of one chapter, but not the end of his journey. Instead, he redirected his energy toward building a fishing business focused on charters and commercial trips, proving that his connection to the sea extended far beyond television fame. And yet, even as new opportunities emerged, the emotional scars from loss, controversy, and relentless public scrutiny remained part of his story. His life became a powerful reminder that behind every larger-than-life television personality is a human being carrying invisible battles, grief, regret, and the constant challenge of rebuilding after mistakes. As the years went on, the pressure of fame began to collide with the weight of past decisions. Just when it seemed like he had finally found stability through television success and recognition, headlines started to surface that threatened everything he had built. Legal issues tied to earlier periods of his life became public, pulling him into a storm that no amount of fishing skill could navigate easily. Court proceedings revealed mistakes that painted a complicated picture, not just of a captain on a television show, but of a flawed human being trying to balance survival, ambition, and responsibility. The news spread quickly across fan communities and media outlets. Supporters were shocked. Critics were loud. Social media filled with debates about accountability, redemption, and whether the man viewers had come to admire was truly who they thought he was. Some fans felt betrayed, questioning how someone known for strength and independence could become entangled in legal controversy. Others saw a deeper narrative, one about the messy reality of life, where people sometimes make choices during difficult times that later come back to haunt them. He chose not to speak publicly in great detail. Instead of interviews or dramatic statements, he retreated into silence, allowing the legal process to unfold. For a man known for his outspoken personality, the quietness was noticeable. Episodes aired where his presence felt more reserved, as if he were carrying an invisible burden. Crew members continued working alongside him, and while competition remained fierce, there was an underlying tension that viewers could sense even through the television screen. When the final rulings came down, they included penalties, restitution, and the obligation to move forward under strict conditions. Some believed justice had been served. Others felt sympathy for a man who had already endured personal loss and public scrutiny. But regardless of opinion, one thing became clear. His life would never return to the carefree image many fans had once seen. The experience reshaped how he approached both his career and his public identity. Yet even in the middle of controversy, he refused to abandon the ocean. Fishing remained his constant anchor, a place where judgment faded into the background and only skill, patience, and perseverance mattered. He continued to wake before sunrise, prepare his crew, and chase the massive tuna that had defined his life since childhood. On the water, he wasn't a headline or a scandal. He was simply a fisherman doing what he knew best. Over time, audiences began noticing a shift in his demeanor. The fiery captain who once thrived on confrontation now appeared more reflective, sometimes even humble. His leadership style softened, focusing more on mentorship and teamwork than dominance. Moments of quiet encouragement replaced heated arguments. It was as though the storms he had faced off camera had reshaped the way he treated those around him. Despite everything, his competitive spirit never disappeared. Season after season, he pushed his crew harder, chasing the top spot with relentless determination. Close calls and near victories became part of his story, times when success seemed just out of reach. And then, finally, after years of perseverance, he achieved a milestone that felt almost symbolic. A championship victory arrived, not just as a professional triumph, but as proof that resilience could still lead to redemption. Fans celebrated the moment passionately. For many viewers, the win represented more than a number on a leaderboard. It was the culmination of years of struggle, criticism, loss, and relentless effort. Seeing him stand proudly on deck after the victory reminded audiences that even those who stumble can find a way back through hard work and dedication. It was one of the rare moments where both supporters and skeptics seemed to agree. His journey had been anything but easy, but while the professional success provided a sense of validation, personal grief continued to shape his life. The absence of his father remained a quiet ache beneath every achievement. Each major milestone carried an unspoken wish that the man who had taught him to fish could have been there to witness it. Interviews and behind-the-scenes moments revealed glimpses of this emotional layer. A man who had achieved fame and success, yet still carried the weight of unfinished conversations and missed goodbyes. Eventually, the long-running fishing show that had introduced him to millions of viewers reached its final chapter. The announcement of its conclusion felt bittersweet. For over a decade, cameras had followed the triumphs and failures of captains battling both nature and each other. The end of the series marked the closing of a significant era in his life. For fans, it felt like saying goodbye to a familiar part of their weekly routine. For him, it meant stepping away from the intense spotlight that had both elevated and complicated his career. Rather than disappearing from the industry, he shifted focus toward building something more personal and sustainable. Private charters and commercial fishing ventures became his new priority. Without the pressure of constant filming, he could reconnect with the aspects of fishing that had first drawn him to the ocean. The quiet mornings, the unpredictable thrill of a catch, and the camaraderie shared among crews working not for television ratings, but for the simple love of the sea. Even so, the internet continued to follow him closely. Old rumors resurfaced periodically, and new speculation occasionally appeared online. Some stories exaggerated past controversies, while others invented dramatic narratives to attract clicks and attention. Yet, through it all, he kept showing up, posting updates, sharing catches, and interacting with loyal fans who appreciated his authenticity, despite the ups and downs. As time passed, the story of his life became less about a single controversy or tragedy, and more about endurance. He had survived personal loss, public criticism, legal challenges, and the intense scrutiny that comes with reality television fame. While some people remembered him only for mistakes, many others saw a complex individual who had faced consequences and continued moving forward with determination. The ocean remained his sanctuary, a place where every sunrise offered a fresh start, and every catch required patience earned through years of experience. Standing on the deck of his boat, he looked less like a television personality and more like the same fisherman who had once learned the trade from his father decades earlier. Fame had changed his life, but it had not erased the deep connection to the water that defined who he was. In the end, his journey stands as a reminder that behind every public figure lies a deeply human story. Success and failure often exist side by side. The same person who makes mistakes can also show resilience, growth, and the courage to continue despite overwhelming challenges. His life is not a simple tale of heroism or downfall, but rather a complex narrative filled with moments of triumph, heartbreak, controversy, and quiet redemption. For viewers who watched him over the years, the biggest lesson may be this: strength is not measured by how loudly someone commands a room, or how often they win a competition. True strength is revealed in the ability to keep going when life delivers its harshest blows. Whether battling storms at sea or navigating the unpredictable currents of public opinion, he remained standing, still chasing the horizon, still refusing to let hardship define the end of his story. And as the waves continue to roll beneath his boat, his legacy remains a testament to perseverance, proof that even the most turbulent lives can find moments of calm, purpose, and renewal. Because in the end, behind every headline and every television moment is a person who, like the ocean itself, is far deeper and more complicated than anyone can see from the surface.